in my ass.
I just banged your wife?
Name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total non-stop impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Non-Stop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday night impacting. His mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha skin manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Non-Stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. What's up, Impact Wrestling? Let's make some noise!
Sitting here, you guys got a 15-minute intro of putting yourselves over while I'm sitting here and watching J-Bone and Kalon and you're 50. I never saw a 15-minute intro of three guys putting themselves over.
This is the good stuff.
Welcome back, everybody, to Total Non-Stop Impact. Impact Talk for Impact fans featured right here on the TNI Network. This is Trent Law with my co-hosts, J-Bone and Bill, and this is the TNI Throwback, NWA-TNA number 45. Gentlemen, what is going on tonight? What's that?
45.
45. Bill is on location. Let's, right off the bat, let's get into it. Bill, where are you at? Give us a location check. Where can people get the autographs? 8x10.
I am currently in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am here because the collective, the shows from that were supposed to be Mania weekend will be occurring over the next 3 days, starting tomorrow at noon and running through late Sunday night. So I will be doing that for the next 12 shows over 3 days. Then a little reprieve and back to Ohio Valley with our buddy Daniel Spencer on Tuesday.
All right. Yeah, nice. You know what we need, Jay?
Holy cow.
Oh, look who's in the background.
There's Dave.
Dave is there. What's up, Dave?
The shirt.
Rocking the shirt, Dave. Good
What's
job.
up?
Good job, Dave. Good job. I like it.
Wait, now, is that the same Dave that gave us a shout out?
Yes, it is the same one that gave us the shout out on his unboxing merch videos.
Dude, that is awesome. What is up? It's nice to see you, Dave. I was like, because I've been getting tags lately, and I subbed to them from Smash's podcast, so I've been watching some of them lately, and man, it's nice to see the support all over the country, man. It's great, man. Thank you so much, awesome. Dave.
Thank you, Dave. You know what we need, Jay? We know the Santa tracker that comes
Lots
out
of love, high fives.
Lots of love, man. You know the Santa tracker, Jay? We need the Santa tracker, but for Bill, like the Bill show tracker across the country, and just see where he's at week to week. We need that show, the live show tracker.
That'd be hilarious.
Okay, we're gonna come up with that. We need to do that for sure. We need the Bill show tracker, and it's just a map of the U.S.
I don't know if we could do like an animated one, but man, it'd be great if we could come up with like a, just put them all over the map.
I'm telling you, that's what we got to do.
Pins, get the rope.
Yep.
Right.
Let's see who's in the chat tonight. TMS is here. What's going on? Funnier if Kyle switched to without Bill knowing. I don't know what that means. What else we got here? Elijah's in here. B-Dog, who was really campaigning for us hard on Twitter, by the way. So thank you, because he got some shit stirring on Twitter. So I appreciate that. Let's do that again. Let's keep that going. And let's keep bothering the shit out of them until they sign us. Let's do that. Zach Bonifer, yes, this is shower head tonight. You are absolutely right. I need to wash this hair because I'm flying out tomorrow, and I was going to save it till after the show. Who else we got? Phantom's going to be there again. You're going to hang out with Phantom again, Bill. Look at that. He's there.
Oh, there you go.
Zach's here again. Paul Nelson's in the house. Who else we got here? Mir, thank you for being here. Rex hanging out. So cool, man. It's the old school. It's the throwback crowd tonight. The usual suspects in the throwback crowd. Very nice. Good to have you guys. Good to be chilling with all you guys tonight. So, Jay, what's going on with you, man? What's new in your world? What's Wisconsin is falling into itself. We know, unfortunately. What's happening with you over there?
We are the epicenter now of all. I'm never leaving my house ever again. That's what it's looking like right now. It's like when Wisconsin's just done and wiped off the map. I'll leave my house and it'll be like some apocalyptic, dust, and I'll walk out of my house and
where's everybody?
Things. Yeah,
nice. Destroying Kayfabe said you told people there'd be live girls on these cams. He feels gypped. J1, did you promise live chicks on the show tonight? Unfortunately,
no, Stein, and that's one of my best friends, Styles from Destroying Kayfabe. I said there was going to be the crazy women of TNA. There's Goldie, there's Trinity. There's Tracy Brooks. I did. And there's Lollipops.
I may have lost my connection.
The dancers.
We can still see you. Bill. You're good.
All right, I'm back.
You're good.
Live pussy cats, according to B-Doc.
Dear God.
All right, cool. Well, listen, we'll jump into it. Bill's got a long day ahead of him. He's hanging with Day. We're not going to take too much time away. I gotta be up early as well, so we're not going to this is not a normal Tuesday night show where we keep you guys for 2.5 hours. You know what I'm saying? But we've been better. We hit just under 2 hours this past Tuesday. We're getting better on that, guys. But a lot of news in Impact Wrestling this week. If you missed it, it's all over the Tuesday show. Go check that out. This past Tuesday's review. We opened it up. We had the big news, the new TV deals going on. A lot of stuff happening in Impact right now. So go get caught up and definitely join the buzz, man. There's a lot of buzz going on, Bill, for Impact in the UK. I think that means you're buying a flight pretty soon overseas.
It sounds like it. The rumblings from Scott on the press pass is pretty much maybe looking at the fall of next year if everything looks okay. So who knows, Trent? I know you were talking about maybe going out too. Maybe a little TNI European vacation, we'll call it.
I'm in. Count me in for it. I'll be there. I haven't been to the UK in a while. My best friend moved over there too, so love to go see him, do a double shot. It'd be really nice to get the Maximum Impact tour back on again. And Scott was on the call, the press call we were on this past week. Where good old Josh Matthews did put us over. He put the kids over 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. So that was nice. But he definitely said there's going to be tours. They are going back. They are going to be in the UK. So they've asked for it. They got it. New TV deal. It's about to blow up. So I'm excited for it, man. I'm ready to go. Jay, I think by next fall, you could leave your house.
I'll be lucky if I could leave my block, but we'll see.
All right, well, we'll settle for Jay coming down to an AAW show or something. All right, let's jump into it, guys. This is NWA-TNA number 45. It took place on May 14th, 2003. Now, I was on Dave's couch, my buddy Dave's couch, watching this show, eating Chinese takeout. Like I ask every week. We'll go with the good news first. Bill, where were you on March 14th, 2003?
May 14th, 2003.
May 14th.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I was. Probably wasn't. Probably 2003. Still having fun out there. Probably. On a Wednesday though, unknown. If it was a weekend, more known. I don't know. 2003 is my buddy Dave. What was my buddy Dave doing on May 14th, 2003? Any idea?
Let's ask Dave. What was he doing back in 2000?
Hey, what were you doing? Anything you remember? Any idea? 2003, were you doing anything interesting?
I must have been watching TNA if it was on TV.
There we go.
Little TNA pay-per-view? You think you were watching a lot?
There we go.
Right, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, I think it's like an East. What is it?
So he may watch it. He may have watched it. He may have watched it.
I may have watched it. I said I don't want to give it all away.
All right, J-Bone, what kind of destructive relationship were you going through in May 14th, 2003?
Hookers and blow. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Sadly, I think that we were all looking like that in 2003.
Yeah, it was a rough year. 2003 was a fucking weird year, but it was a good. Whatever I can remember, I guess. Let's open it up though, guys. Let's start. We get the old classic. What became a classic thing in 2000s wrestling, the limo, or actually late 90s, the limo pulling up to the back. Bill, it seemed like every show had a limo pulling up to the back.
Yeah, it was popular. It was popular. I feel we saw this even not long ago already on TNA. They've already gone this way a few times early on. Was the limo coming out to do it, and like it's not an 88 Saab like our boy Johnny Swinger, but the limo it adds a little something. It makes us feel important. That's definitely the go-to. This is an important player on tonight's show if they're coming in a limo. So we know this is Glen's night.
Huge.
It's starting out to be.
This is a huge night for Disco, Jay. This is like one of the biggest features I've ever seen of Glenn Gilberti ever in the history of watching this guy's career. Incredible.
I gotta say that the rise of Sports Entertainment Xtreme since Gilberti has taken over the locker room, I've been impressed.
Me too.
I was never like, I was a fan of Disco, but it was more just like, hey, he's the comic relief, and he's okay in the ring, and
right,
and he dances, and he's kind of goofy, puts a smile on your face. This guy, unbelievable. This guy is just tearing the place apart with his whole crew. It's throughout the whole show, just raising hell and havoc. It's unbelievable.
I like basically Disco and Glenn Gilberti are two very different characters, is what I've come to learn here. You know, like that's what we're coming to find out. And he's awesome here, man. The opening right here pulls up, driver lets him out. He pulls a wad of hundreds, counting them off, and he hands the guy the dollar bill that was wrapped around the hundreds. And he's like, go buy yourself something nice. And I was like, already I'm in. He's in a nice suit. I'm in on Disco tonight. The weird thing was Eric Watts pops out from his car, kind of watching what was going on. And then Mike Tenay is like, is that Eric Watts? What's going on there? Show open. Siaki, Sports Entertainment Xtreme, in the ring, presenting Disco, right? He's the main event. He's the number one contender. Lots of fans. So they start off, though. You guys notice this? A lot of fans into it in the beginning. And then they like turn on him. And then just goes into Disco sucks. A lot of fucking heat out of nowhere. And then
he does the typical turn on the crowd and insults them, which is instant heat. He's like, every time I come back here, I start to sound like you guys. And it's like, oh boy. And
they're like, boo, fuck you. Yeah. So he says he did what he set out to do. He's going to top the previous actions, and he's sick of being crammed into that tiny little locker room. Tonight, Sex is going to take over the building. And then he threatens Raven on where his loyalty lies. The Raven's kind of a lost character right now. We're not really sure what's happening to Raven. Is he with Team Xtreme, Sports Entertainment Xtreme? We don't know. But threatens Raven, says he's going to extend the olive branch. So to everybody, you either join us or you be wiped out. So this has a little NWO vibe to it, right? You know, you're either with us or against us kind of vibe. And we're kind of a little bit of rehashing, a little bit, but not too bad so far. I did like this part, though. He gives everybody 10 seconds to decide. Team Xtreme comes out. New Jack says, shut your ass up as you stand there with your $20 Kmart suit and your $10 Payless shoes. And
that was a good line.
Crowd pop for that one.
They really pop for when he goes, you big nose bitch. That's when they really popped.
Which they censored.
Again, patchy censoring on this episode, right? Like,
all over the place.
All over. Like, we'll censor shit here, but not here. Bitch here, but not here. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? What is going on with this censor? And then Glenn says, I guess the drugs haven't kicked in yet. Because you guys, or you guys must be delusional because you guys are passing up the opportunity to actually get paid, which I thought was a great line. So he insults them. He says him and Sandman need to have a sit down. Bottom line, New Jack says choice 3 is we all whoop your asses. Big brawl ensues. A lot of brawls in this show, Bill. Tons of brawls everywhere. Everybody's brawling on this show.
A lot of brawling. It not untypical for this stage. We've seen this a lot, where pretty much everyone gets in the ring and it gets crazy. We see it get crazy throughout, but yeah, you pretty much have the whole crew in there at multiple points tonight.
I think what it is, those group gang warfare things have always been a popular thing with the fans. Like, I always love the factions. Factions are always a thing. And what do you guys think in the chat? Factions always seem to be the thing. Like, it's always a popular thing to have factions and faction war, and people always brawl. Factions always brawling. And I think that always gets over. So Jay, like, it's over here too. Fans are into this one. Like, fans are super into it.
Yeah, and it's kind of a, like I said before, it's just kind of a turning of the page time in the company. You had that big, showdown with Jarrett and Raven, and now things are coming down now, but they're trying to keep the momentum going. So they're doing a lot. See, there's a lot of chaos going on in the show. Like, what's going on over here? What's going on over there?
A lot of chaos. Keep up with all of it. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to keep up with. I mean, that's the thing. See, now what about you guys? Let me start with you, Bill. Are you a fan? Like, I love the chaos. I love the Crash TV stuff. I love just a lot of shit going on where I don't have time to breathe. I like keeping me engaged. Are you a slower pace guy? And you guys in the chat too. Let me know what you guys think. You guys like the slower breathing room style, or you like the constant style?
The constant style is good. It's just you got to have a nice mix. You can't just go all Crash all the time. It just gets old. It's honestly just too much going on. It can be a mess to follow everything. You have too many storylines to get intersected. But definitely you want heavy action. But you want to build up. Like, we just got through the Raven, Jarrett build. That was it. That was a long feud. Was a long build. It was a little slow, but they did have some crazy action in between that kept it going. Right. So that's like the perfect example of a good mix and building it up. Right. So I think something like that is when they're hitting on all cylinders. But we see it a lot. It gets crazy. Like, you're right. Like, this is Russo. This is Crash TV. This is every week kind of going, throw it against the wall and see what happens. But it can, not everything can work that way. You got to you can do that with maybe a storyline or two, but not the whole show.
Right. And people in the chat like it too. Everybody seems to like a good faction.
Yeah, they just can get overdone. That's the risk of any faction. Because they'll take over the NWA, the NWO. They'll take over the show. Like, that's all it is NWO, and even later TNA, the main event Mafia, the Aces and Eights. All the show becomes is that faction eventually. You have to have at least two strong factions. They can't take over the whole show.
Absolutely, you definitely cannot overdo it, and you got to have an equal balance of, because you need the rivals, right? You need the who's going to be the hero against the one. So it works if you got the right mix.
And you got to have a good mix of in-ring, just straight up wrestling.
Yes.
And there was a really good amount of that on this show to even out all the little chaotic moments here and there. So that was, I mean, this really felt like a 50-50 show. Like, there was a couple segments in between each match, like, oh, what's going on over here? Okay, this is setting up this. Okay, now we're back to the match, and oh my God, what a match! So yeah, there was a good mix of both.
Total sidebar, not to dwell too much though. I know we're going a little long on this first segment, but I always felt that's what held Aces and Eights back, was the fact that they didn't have enough good wrestlers in the group. You had a bunch of rookies. You had some rookies. You had some guys who weren't known as good wrestlers, who weren't like match guys. Got a lot. It was like this much personality, but not too much match stuff. So like, And then match-wise, they just throw Garrett Bischoff and Wes into there, and like they'd eat all the violence, and it's like you didn't have a good balance in it. I think that's what burned out Ace and Eight so fast. That's why I loved Ace and Eight. Don't get me wrong, but I felt that was one of the things that hurt it. Next segment, guys. So Don West tonight, because my buddy Dave asked me, you gotta start pointing out Don West's fashion. So Don West's fashion tonight is a black shirt and a matching blended black tie. Just start putting that out there. he's like, you got to start talking about what Don West is wearing every day. This
is where every week he goes color on color, silver on silver, black on black, red on red.
Fantastic. Sabin in the back with Goldie, and he says tonight's the biggest night of his career. He gets interrupted by Jerry Lynn, who interjects himself into the X Division match and says, Sabin's like, that's not a good idea. Jerry's like, no, I'm going to kick both of your asses. And then we go right to the match. Now, I'm leading to something really big with this, and I want to really get you guys' opinion. You two and everybody in the chat, stay with me on this one as I talk about this next match, and I'm going to sum something up at the end. So Red, Sabin, and Jerry, three-way match. Starts off, it's weird. It started off a little rocky, don't you think, Bill? Like, it started a little like they had the little spots, but they weren't flowing with the spots.
No, it seemed... You hate to say it, but like choreographed. It seemed.
I literally wrote that down. I wrote exactly that down.
Yeah, it seemed like they were like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And they were going through the motions. It's almost like they didn't have a chance to really go over anything with each other.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this 2 minutes before the match. And that's what they went out to do.
The quote I had written on my paper was too constructed. It felt too constructed tonight. Jay, what do you think? Was it a little stiff, right, in the beginning? Like, it didn't have a flow for a little bit. Like, they needed to warm up. I know
it did, but the oddest part of it is you've got this because it's supposed to be a three-way,
right?
It's not supposed to be a 2-on-1.
Exactly.
It started out as a 2-on-1 because Jerry and Lynn and Red are looking at each other like, all right, let's get them.
Yeah, exactly.
But then someone would go for a finish and the other guy would interfere and knock him off. Red would hit Lynn, Lynn would hit Red, and then they'd go at it. And then it really, throughout the match, turned into a regular three-way. But I know what you're saying, how the beginning felt a little, here's that word, wonky.
Wonky. I think it's your word now, Jay. You officially took it from me. It's officially yours now.
Is it?
You can have it.
It's been bestowed.
It's all yours. It's all yours. So once it warmed up, they got rolling, right? And but Triple X comes out, a lot of interference, start teasing some interference. Then they actually interfere where Elix puts Red in the play of the day, rolls Sabin on top of him. Chris Sabin wins the exhibition title real fast now, real quick. He's out there. Triple X comes in, congratulates him, offers him a shirt. He joins. Now, the shot you saw of what's our background here and the cover is a curly-haired kid, 22 years old, winning the X Division title.
2 years in.
2 years in.
Unbelievable.
X Division champion with that curly. You see where I'm going with this? I think Bill knows where I'm going with this. And there's two guys currently in the company right now there's a guy vibing this exact feeling. I literally saw what is Ace Austin today was Chris Sabin 17 years ago. And it's funny because they're feuding on TV today. And I find that fucking brilliant.
Yeah, they were the press pass this past week.
And they were on the press pass. That's to me, it's the most brilliant. And I'm going to ask a favor of somebody in the chat because I really want to post this and tweet. I need a good side. I got the view of Sabin holding the belt from our cover art. But if anybody can grab the Bound for Glory shot or something where Ace is holding the belt up and that hair is flowing down and I want to do a side by side of Ace Austin and Chris Sabin.
Oh, like when he's on top of the ladder, that's a great shot.
Just any shot where it's like I can just sidebar the two of them because we got the one from ours in the clip here. And it's like, I completely hit me. I was like, Ace Austin's trajectory is just like Chris Sabin.
Yeah.
If he wins the tag belts with Fulton eventually, there's your tag. Ace Austin's talking about being in route to be the youngest world champion or the second youngest world champion. Chris Sabin did that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
hey, if anybody's from Impact is watching, wink, wink, like they did for Slammiversary when they did the Ace Austin into AJ Styles montage. Do the same thing for Ace and Sabin for the tag title match.
That's the one you got to do. It's more Sabin than it is AJ for me.
Yeah.
And I find it brilliant that they're currently feuding right now. And I'm like, holy shit. I got such a vibe of Ace Austin today. And it was like, that's crazy. I mean, like down to like similar, like almost similar looking in a way too. You know, that young, arrogant punk with the curly hair, the fucking quads, you know, like this is like him. Crazy though. And you guys in the chat, tell me if I'm crazy on this. It really hit me today, and it made me love not only Sabin more, but Ace more. You know, I'm so into the Ace Austin character even more now because I'm like, he is so confident, and he is like he is our guy. You know, he really is an Impact guy, and I love that about him. He's like what Sabin is for us too. He's the new Sabin in a way, and he's his own path. He's Ace Austin.
It's a great way to compare the two. It really is, Trent.
I'm telling you, I was so cool. Thank you, and I was so cool. It was so cool to just see that. So that was cool. But damn, Red had a short fucking reign.
2
short
weeks.
Reign. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
But he's been involved in a lot. He had that. He had the tag belts at the same time.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of inner turmoil between Jerry Lynn and Red. I mean, they have although they don't have the tag belt, they had the tag belts, and now they don't have anything. So, you know, I don't know if this turns into more of just a straight feud between Lynn and Red, because man, Lynn is really, he's getting sassy.
Yeah, real sassy. He's even dressing a little different, you know.
He dyed his hair. The hair under his long hair was like a real dark red. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, he's really changing it up.
What's up with this?
It's getting evil, man.
I gotta point out one thing.
Sure.
The number one, the crowd in this episode was it was on fire.
Great crowd.
There was a line of ladies in the front row behind the ring.
Hello,
you could always
lady.
see them when the hard camera was on them.
Mm-hmm.
And when Triple X was outside of the ring and they were just watching this three-way go on, Low Key was standing next to one of the girls. You know, he was closer to the line of girls than he was the ring. So he was back a little bit. And you could see one of the girls say something to him. He looks, Low Key looks over at her and does this. It's like, man, I want to know what that conversation was. I am dying to know. It had to be something just goofy.
Meet me at the Hojo's.
Come on, lady, I'm working here. You know?
Meet me at the Hojo's, room 17.
Oh,
like, what?
Something.
What do you mean?
Low key, I'm busy.
I'm working right now.
I'm professional.
Goldie's with Extreme Revolution. So they've been calling them both names, Team Extreme and Extreme Revolution. Now it's officially Extreme Revolution. New Jack's pissed off at that old fathead Sandman for negotiating with Sports Entertainment Xtreme. Little frustrated. Saturn gets in there. He's not happy with anybody. You know, I'll just kick everybody's ass. I don't give a shit. I'm just pissed off. He's upset.
New Jack was just on fire in this episode. My God.
He was. We get word from TNA that TNA has granted Glenn Gilberti's request for a camera to follow him all day, which is what he asked for in the beginning of the show. Hyping up. So they're in the back with Sports Entertainment Xtreme. They're hyping up Sanders versus Mike Awesome. And then he's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that son of a bitch down DOA style. And he looks over at the Harris brothers, which huge pop. Because they're like, yeah. Because anyone doesn't know, Harris brothers were in DOA in the late 90s WWF. So I thought that was a nice little like like his little wink. Glenn then sicks the Harris boys on Sabu to go find Sabu. Desire comes in and says someone's here to see him. He's like, I'm busy. She goes, I don't really think you should talk to him. It's Kid Kash. This gets weird now. Okay, this gets very strange coming up here, guys. Kash comes in. He says, he's like, we should beat the shit out of you right now. He goes, no, I'm here with a peace offering. I'm here to offer you something. You know, I'm here to make peace and offer you something. And then he drags in Trinity and throws her into the lions. And he goes, I'm going to offer the services of Trinity. And he's like, yeah, she'll. And he's like, what does she do? He's like, she'll do anything you want. Like a lot of sex implication here.
Oh, yeah. Get on your knees, all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, here's the thing. Kash leaves and they literally surround her, you know, and you hear Mike Sanders like, you want work a rusty trombone, you know, it's like it seemed rapey as fuck at this point. I'm not too like sensitive to this stuff, but I'm just thinking like that's crazy to think that at the time nobody gave this a second thought. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's so uncomfortable to watch because it's like, oh dear God. I mean, you know they're not going to do anything on TV. They've got limits, but
I like this though.
As soon as the camera goes off, what's happening?
Well, because they surround her like a pack of hyenas, and I'm like, this seems like gang raping in a way, man. But I like this. I pop for this, Rex. When Mike said, when he's like, mind your P's and Q's, he's like, more like your knees and Q's. Like, it was funny.
Oh boy!
But it was a little again. You could never today's environment, today's climate with Twitter. No way. It just shows everybody wasn't so goddamn soft back then. Fuck. Obviously, it's a show, right? Obviously, it's a show. Nothing actually happened, so let's not go nuts. But interesting, very interesting to see that. Tables and match, Mike Sanders and Mike Awesome, Sports Entertainment Xtreme. Like, okay, not much going on here, but like this is like really the wind down of Awesome, though, isn't it, Bill? Like they're really like he's not featured in any way as like a fucking monster that he is.
No, you could tell this was. I guess I don't know what the deal they had with him was, but they were just kind of like almost running out the dates. It felt like a little bit how Eric Watts felt a little while ago. They're just kind of, he's just going through the motions a little bit. Like they're not really him per se, but just the company with him right now.
Yeah, like you said, more so. We got these dates. All right, let's throw you in here.
Let's throw him in here. Why not?
Get Sanders over, you know. Not much going on in this match. It was more so just a pretty standard match until Sports Entertainment Xtreme got involved. New Church came to back Awesome. They ended up brawling to the outside, which that was kind of cool. How they like took the brawl outside. Camera followed them. Match continues. Disco comes in, nails Awesome with a chair, and then he just kind of falls through the setup table. Sanders wins. So you know the wink and a nod kind of heel victory. Stole one from Mike Awesome, but man, he didn't look strong at all here. Mike was really just winding down, and I'm shocked, Jay. I thought you could have done a lot with Mike Awesome in 03.
Yeah, and I think it was just bad timing because this was such a strong Sports Entertainment Xtreme show where everybody looked just like super mega. Like these guys are the new NWO, and they're just destroying everybody, kicking everybody's ass, plowing everybody over in their way, and that's just the timing of this show. It's the New Church didn't have a New Church was certainly strong in past episodes. We've talked about that.
Yeah,
it just wasn't the same case here.
They're still there, but man, they're nowhere near what they were in the first 20 episodes. Not at all.
No, especially when you got the Harris brothers, and then you got like three more guys jumping on them. You got Siaki and all of Triple X is there now. I mean, their numbers are really strong. It's not like
they got a lot.
It's not like, ooh, okay, who they got this week, or who's over in Japan? Who are they trying to fill in now because they're missing a few guys? No, everybody's there now.
Ace in the hole, Sonny Siaki. Ace hole, Sonny Siaki. So we go to the back. Goldie's with Chris Harris. He's pissed off. He's real pissed at her. You know what I liked about this little detail here? How they kind of, the camera starts with him kind of like already berating her. You know, like it wasn't a setup here. I'm here with Chris Harris. It wasn't one of he was like, what are you going to ask me? What are you going to more accusations, Goldie? She's like, what? He's like, go ahead. Go and accuse me of more stuff. And then she sets it up. I like it. It felt more real that like the camera flipped on. He's upset at her already for having to do this. Like that, those little details add a lot to a show. Something Impact to this day, I think, does the best, the more than it's not so produced and set up like I'm Goldilocks. I'm here with Chris Harris. Well, you know something, James Storm. You know what? It's like it's exactly how a real person would be talking. If I'm like, go do an interview, and he's like, fuck that, I'm pissed off. Just go do it anyway, and he's upset. It had that kind of feeling to it. I love it. Small details. He says Storm's not returning his calls. His best friend's pissed off at him. He's a victim of circumstance. The NWA is against him. Then he challenges David Young. He's got a match with David Young coming up now. And then we go from that to Glen with Trinity. Now, nothing, she seems safe. Nothing seems to have happened. And he's like, I need 2 minutes alone with you. He tells, and then, okay, Bill, did you catch this? Every time he's telling everybody to leave, he's like, all right, Harris Brothers, go out there. And he goes, yeah. And then Sonny Siaki's like, yeah, Harris Brothers, I want you to go out there. He's like the little brother mirroring thing. I don't know if you guys caught that. Yeah. I love sitcom-y shit, but I love it.
He's an ace-hole.
He's an ace-hole. And
it's like, you too, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you too, Siaki, get out of here. And he tells so Watts interferes, and he tells something. This is after Watts leaves, they sit down with Trinity. So let me finish this. So Watts interferes and says, you got to talk about the whole Jeff thing with me. Okay, this Watts thing is off the fucking rails. Off the rails here. I don't even know where it's going at this point. Any idea, Jay? Where is this happening?
The craziest part is everybody's responding to him like, you're full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They don't believe him.
Which is destroying Watts. I mean, he just looks like a total buffoon now.
He implies, Bill, that the same Eric from WCW, when you and I were both there, DDP's best friend, is coming. Glenn's like, Eric? Really? He's like, he'll be here. He'll be here. And but like Disco brushed him off. Like he's like, you're confusing me. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, get out of here. Now, what we've come to learn is Eric Watts is also very close friends with DDP, which I know now just from seeing him on DDP's Twitter and stuff. But at the time, we're led to believe this is Eric Bischoff. Now I think later this year is when Bischoff shows up north, right? Am I mistaken on that? Like 03? When does he show up north there? It's about this year, isn't it?
Feels pretty close to it. I'm not 100% sure, but he did show up there.
Yeah. So,
I think before 5, so it might be 03, 04.
If anyone in the chat knows off the top of their heads, I'm curious. Was it? I thought it was 03. But anyway, they're implying Bischoff right here. And this goes like, all right, whatever. But they're back to him and Trinity. She's like, look, he's like Kid Kash is an asshole. Not beeped, by the way. Not beeped. Bitches beeped here and there. Asshole, not beeped. He offers her a spot in Sports Entertainment Xtreme. He goes, no pressure. He goes, no pressure. Do whatever you want. Think about it. July 02, so he was already there. Okay. He's like, no pressure. Do whatever you want. Relax. Go eat some egg whites and let us know in the morning. Like, did you guys catch that line? He goes, we have a couple egg whites. Get back to me.
Yeah. Egg whites.
Catering.
He's like, Harris Brothers run in. They say they couldn't find Sabu, but look who we found. They dragged the Gathering in there. Old Mickey James and Julio get dragged in there. Which you kind of forgot about after the Raven feud really ended with Jarrett. Those two, talk about lost in the shuffle. I'm like, where do these two go now? But they're still there. Kash is there. He comes out and he challenges the Truth with Konnan in his corner. They come in pretty standard little brawl. Not a bad match. Not a bad match at all. Harris Brothers attack Konnan, who was on Konnan. They beat the shit out of Konnan, Jay. Beat the fuck out of your buddy Konnan. He's like laying out. He's out. Knocked the fuck out. After that, that mass luchador now the mass luchador comes out again. Inverted DDT on Kash. Killings gets the win. This is going on too long. My notes said this mass luchador is going on too long. I'm like, you're losing me now. You're totally losing me now. When do we end this? That's what I can't figure out. Any ideas? I mean, at first we all thought it was Trinity. I mean, it still could be Trinity.
Still feels like Trinity. Still feels like Trinity.
It does, but it doesn't, because we just saw her in the back, thinking about egg whites with Gilberti. So,
it seems too obvious if it's her at this point, right? Like we just saw her in the back. Like, we're surprised if it's Trinity.
I was trying to think of someone else that was around back then, and I can't think of it because this is still we call them knockouts because of all the action they're doing and the bumps they're taking. But this is still pre-knockouts, and I'm trying to think of who else was around back then. So I'm clueless. I don't want any spoilers. So
I'm shocked. I don't know. I'm shocked it's going on this long. What's interesting though, too, BG champ. Not with that body.
Woo!
Interesting to note, we're at May 14th on this episode. The 1 year is coming up. The first Slammiversary. Well, they weren't calling it Slammiversary at this point, but the first anniversary show is roughly a month out from where we're at. So crazy to think it's almost a year into the whole thing. That's something to note. Do they stretch the Mass Luchador out to the big 1 year show? I sure hope not. That's a long stretch. But it's already been like what, Bill? 2 months at this point?
It feels like it's in that range of about 2 months since we saw like the whole loot. It goes back obviously to the Jerry Lynn angle. So it's a while. It might even be longer, honestly. It might be closer to 3 months.
Closer to 3 months, I think. You're right. It's like, geez, man, are we really we're pushing the limit on this one? But Killings wins. Goldie is outside with Sandman. He's looking for Glen. But he finds Siaki, and he's not happy. He's like, I want to talk to Glen. He's. Oh, Bill, you ever meet the Sandman? Your ECW arena days? You ever come across all the hack?
Oh yeah. Numerous times over the years.
Not a
shoot. He is.
I mean,
I mentioned when I saw him on one of those drive-in deathmatch shows.
That's right.
He showed up there, and he's still the same guy. He has not changed that much over the years, and you're right. He's not playing really a character, and I just once again, it's because he gets some of the credit, but not as much as he should, because obviously he was honing this character, which was pretty much him in ECW when Steve Austin, the superstar, showed up, and pretty much he just took his gimmick and became the biggest. Him and The Rock became the biggest wrestlers in the world with pretty much the Sandman's gimmick. So
that's pretty much what
kudos.
It was. But it's a shoot. It's not a work. His voice really is like that too.
He does talk like that.
That's a pack a day cigarettes, Jay.
Do you have a Sandman impression down, Trent? You're our impression guy.
I met him once. Right before the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match at a Elks Lodge on the south side of Chicago. And it was a Saturday, and him in that match was coming up on Wednesday. And I said, hey, I'm psyched to see you on TNA on Wednesday. And he's like, oh, bro, I thought of the whole thing. The Clockwork Orange House of Fun. Oh, Scotty didn't do nothing. It was all me. Not
bad. It's just a different inflection from Sammy.
A little bit. It's a little more soprano than Sammy. I got to get the higher pitch.
Yep, that's exactly what it
didn't do nothing. Yo.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I was laughing. He's literally chugging an old style, cigarette in the hand. So when he can still smoke inside. And he goes, watch it and tell me what you think. I was like, where? Let me, hey, Hack, great match. Let me know what you think. Okay. Great guy. It was fun. But what a fucking character. So they get into a brawl at Siaki after David Young goes to hit Sandman and he nails Desire in the back with the kendo stick.
Yeah, but hit her pretty good. It almost seemed like, oof, did someone just got a misconnection there, or was she that meant to take that?
I don't know. It's pretty stiff. J-Bo, you've had some.
It was really a chaotic mess because it's like she was she looked like she was supposed to like seduce him. There was a lot of like little innuendo things going on in
there
this
was
episode.
There was some Kendrick stick action going on here.
A lot. She sat on his lap, said, "I can work your stick." All sorts of stuff going on there. For anybody, I'm seeing a couple comments. People having a little connectivity clearing issues on YouTube. Is everybody having this on YouTube today, or is it just a few people? If so, I would say go to Twitch. Hop over to twitch.tv/Total Nonstop Impact. Just go. It's free. Go check it out. See if the same issue is happening on Twitch. If you're having YouTube issues tonight, guys, just want to put that out there. But yeah, they brawl. They brawl all the way inside. Up to the Crow's Nest, which is packed, by the way. So they sold those. And this is a hot house, Jay. You're right. Crowd was fantastic tonight.
Yeah, they were. It was on fire. I mean, there was at one point where the ladies were screaming at the men were screaming at the ladies, back and forth. That was fun. That was actually pretty fun. But Billy, we've been to the asylum. That section where they brawled into was like, was more of a Crow's Nest where the crew was hanging out. But think about how full they used to pack this building. 1,000 people every Wednesday just to fucking fill it to the they're hanging from the rafters. Literally, that's the rafters. You can see the rafters up over them. The cheap seats. That's what it was.
No, they're right now. They're a hot promotion. They're a hot promotion, obviously in the Nashville area. They're getting more of a national presence at this time, and it's showing. Like, obviously, you have a lot of the same fans going to every show, so they have a stalwart, diehard fan base. But you can tell there's we'll call casuals, local casuals to the area that are hearing about what's going on. And hey, it's a Wednesday night. Let's do it.
I personally think, like, Jay, let me ask you, COVID aside. Let's say your local town had wrestling every Wednesday for $10 to $15. Wednesday night, midweek, break up your week. Is that something you would go to? Let's say all conditions are okay, back to normal, 2019 world. Would that be something you'd do? Like, hey, I'm gonna go watch wrestling with the guys every Wednesday. It's kind of like instead of going to the bar in a way, but we're going to go to the fights every Wednesday. I know Bill already know the answer for you, so you don't have to answer that.
I probably would, given that things were a little different, but yeah.
I think so. Like, who was doing that was Rockstar Pro every Wednesday night, and they just get a good crowd of local people, and that was the thing to do in Dayton, and all those guys would be on it. Sammy, OVE, Jess. I mean, big stars, but it was like a way for them to keep the rust off during the week. I love it. If you gave me that in Chicago, I'd be on it in a minute. Absolutely be on it in a minute. It's just something fun to do. And that's what I think a lot of these fans were doing. It's a Wednesday night, break up your week. It's like going to a baseball game, $15 to get in, get your beers, hang out. It's a very comfortable building, as we saw, Bill. It's a very easy building to go to, park, relax, no real shitty security. It's a fun place. So, now you're Tuesday night at the Garden, same thing. Tuesday night Louisville Garden, same idea. Monday nights in Memphis, at the Coliseum in Memphis. Same thing. It was like these guys had local wrestling, and it was huge back then.
Yeah,
awesome stuff. I wish we still had that kind of stuff.
Well, where I just was and where I'll be going again, Ohio Valley Wrestling every Tuesday.
Exactly.
And they got a group of those diehard fans that are there every week. For sure.
And this is a limited crowd, but what would you say was in there during this, even with limited crowd? How many people?
With a limited crowd, that's tough to guess for a studio. I want to say limited crowd, maybe a couple hundred.
Which is not
at
bad.
Most. Yeah, because I think that's just, my guess is maybe on a like normal times. I don't know what the capacity is of the Davis Arena, but maybe it's in that upper hundreds. So if you want to say it's at 30-40% capacity, something like that,
fantastic.
Then a couple hundred.
And think about that. Even if you get 400 people on a Wednesday night to come in, even 300 people on a Wednesday night to do student tapings, I think that's fucking great.
We'll have to ask our friend of the show, referee.
He would know better than me. I only had that one experience, and I was taking it all in. I wasn't paying too much attention to those dynamics, but but a good crowd, like people outside in these times. And you knew like everybody knows each other.
I love it.
So it's as you said, it's that thing to do. It's the going to the bar. It's the hanging out somewhere, and it's with wrestling, which is great.
That's the best. That is the best. Miller, that good to hear. The connection is a lot better. So guys on YouTube, glad to hear it's going better.
Yeah, if you're still having an issue, maybe give it a refresh.
Yeah, it's probably could be. All right, so we get a little Jeff Jarrett kind of video package sit down, talking some interesting topics. He's injured now. He's going over. He's got a bunch of injuries. Raven beat the fuck out of him.
He's all banged up.
A little banged up. Interesting. He goes into a question basically about the state of the industry. And I don't know if you guys have any takeaways from this, but this is my one, was that he talks about why TNA, or the state of the industry, why TNA is there, and how the WWE has been failing for the last year, how the ratings have declined, which we know factually the ratings were on decline. They have declined for the last 20 years. This was the start of it. And similar to the way TNA came out, which another company came out during the same kind of time, where WWE's on a very downward trend. Another company started up a year ago, trying to capture the lost people. They got some, not a lot, but and even in today's era, which is a little more of a broad era, but man, same idea. He's like, look, we saw an opening, we went for it. I thought that was an interesting thing to talk about. He literally says the WWE's failing. They're on their way down. This is a good time for us to come in. So.
Yeah, because they're failing to create new stars. And that's one of the things that I've talked about with this other company that you mentioned too. It's like, that's so important. They're a year in, and it's like, you got to create new stars, and they're finally starting to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what, look, TNA in 45 episodes has done just that. I mean, look how much they've done. I mean, yeah, they have a lot of older guys, but think about, Bill, name a few up, AJ's being one of them, but many guys? They've created a whole new crowd, which today are still in the business, a lot of them, and still killing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like obviously, we just saw him. He lost by Amazing Red. Like, these guys were not household names, and they're like pretty much everybody in the X division, but like even like Ron Killings, like people like that, like a world champion. So they were given the spotlight to guys that maybe just had little runs, obviously at the end of WCW. Things like that, but also people that weren't on a major TV promotion, that this is their first chance, and they're letting them run with it for a lot with the throughout. Like obviously we've talked about the whole Harris and America's Most Wanted. Like they gave that huge avenue right there that no one had seen before.
And to this day, you got James Storm at the peak of his game today. It's incredible. So. They were making stars, man, when nobody was at a time. I mean, and I'm not gonna, and I can't discount Ring of Honor at that point too. They were doing a lot of work just without the exposure that TNA had. They were doing great things too. It can never take away, because a lot of those Ring of Honor guys show up in TNA. Like, there was back and forth a ton of them in 03, 04, 05, 06. Like there was the open door, Bill. I think the open door policy went from like up to like 08 is when they started really clamping it down, I think, right? That's about when.
Sounds about right. Maybe just before that. It was definitely over by then, but maybe it started fraying a little bit at the edges for maybe about a year before that.
Yeah, and I think officially when the whole Feinstein thing happened is when they were like, we're done. I think that's when it really was like officially done. But yeah, you're right. It was starting to wear off a little bit because they were keeping them busier in TNA. But
exactly, yeah, just like they couldn't show up as much anymore.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Yeah, Jay, it was 03 was a very exciting time, man, because both those companies were kicking.
It was. I mean, you had whoever didn't go to WWF in the whole WCW buyout thing, a lot of them, the bigger names sat at home and sat on their $1 million contracts, not doing anything, and others wanted to work, but if they didn't want to go, or if they weren't offered, then obviously they still want to work. You're going to go to TNA and do what you can. So.
That's it. So, all right. So next segment is very interesting, kind of hot too for the first half of it. Kid Kash is destroying a locker room, and Goldie's like, "What are you doing?" And Goldie lets out that classic scream of hers, Bill. That Which we need a soundbite of that.
Yeah, we need that. We need a throwback bite of that.
Can we get that soundbite, Jake? Can you make sure to remind Kyle? We need a Goldilocks that
scream.
She's got a great. Oh my god, she has a great. Oh my god, her frustration is hilarious.
I gotta say, she was stunning in this episode.
Goldilocks, I feel, hasn't aged at all. Like, she looks fantastic today. A friend of the show, so hello, Goldilocks, as well. Thank you for always supporting us. No, this segment was great because Kash is destroying the locker room. Tracy Brooks comes in, right? And she's and Nurse is in the room. Nurse, this is why it's hot.
Settle down,
Nurse. I'm gonna tell you why it's hot. Give me a second here. I'm gonna explain why I'm saying it was a hot segment. She comes in and she's like really into Kid Kash. Like, she's doing the schoolgirl thing, and she's like, Kash, Trinity doesn't know what she had. You know, me, I like being talked to that way. I like being told what to do and be put in my place. You know, she's saying, look, you can dominate me all you want. You know,
she wants to be put in a cage.
She wants to. I'll be put in a cage. I like dancing in a cage. That's the kind of woman I am.
She's like, I know my place.
I know my place. So he's getting a little turned on. You know, he's like, yeah. And she's like, you want a massage? And he's like, yeah, we want to massage me? And she's like, yeah, I'll massage you. And she pulls out like a tube and she starts like greasing him up. And it's like getting a little hot. And he's like, where does it hurt? He goes, I'll tell you where it hurts. And it's the camera style. They keep it above. They keep it above, but she goes down. He's like, oh, you know, he's basically implying there's a handy going on. And then he's like, what the fuck? And then she like nails him. He's like, what the fuck? And she like hits him in the balls. She goes, don't you ever put your hands on me again. Oh, you're not gonna treat me like that again. Kid catches, and all you hear him go is, my balls. Like,
he's got the balls.
The balls. Spice would have loved it.
She stuffed Ben Gay in his pants. Yeah.
She says,
oh my god. And
I thought
that shit burns.
I've never had Ben Gay on my balls. Is that true? Nurse, you're in the room. Does Ben Gay burn if you put it on somebody's balls? Would it? Because she goes up, she goes, I thought Ben Gay was supposed to stop the pain. She throws a tube at him. Favorite knockout, Tracy Brooks, who gave us a shout last week or 2 weeks ago when her debut came up. So when we put the photo of her debut shot up, she gave it a little retweet and gave it a little shout. So thank you to Tracy Brooks for that.
Nice.
The wife of Frankie Kazarian, who's a former TNA superstar, friend of mine, friend of the show. So good stuff. Now, again, one of the first 3 knockouts of the company. Tracy, Trinity, Goldilocks. The second active one, really. Desire. I can't cut out Desire.
Yes.
First handful. You got the first handful of knockouts, right? Desire, Trinity, Goldilocks, Tracy Brooks. I mean, she really is. Again,
don't forget about Alexa Laree.
Alexa, I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
Constantly taking bumps, man. I mean, she really earned it in these shows.
You know, this is just cruel right here. This is absolutely just cruel. You know, and they're saying, "Let me just try it on you." You know, we're already establishing that it hurts. So, like, why you gonna do that to me, Nurse? Like, what are you putting me through that pain? That being said, I'll see you Saturday.
She's a nurse. She should know. The fact is, you can't use the Ben Gay. You got to use that unscented stuff. Then you could go anywhere with that.
That's that. You know, Bill Jablin's talking from some odd kind of experience, and
I'm kidding. You can't use that shit anywhere.
I guess not. I had to play that soundbite. Usually we don't do sound bites on the Throwback Show, guys, which we should start getting some. I think we need throwback sound bites on the show. And I think we need a separate intro for the Throwback Show, not the 15-minute intro. So we got some tweaks coming up in the Q4 of 2020. So that was funny. It was a fun thing. But full credit. Definitely want to get some shout outs going to Tracy Brooks, Desire, Goldilocks, and Trinity, and Alexis, Laree for being that first handful of knockouts in the company, because they really, Mickie James comes back later and dominates, but you know, it's never really like a big thing. Like, she was here in freaking year one, you know, she's a year one. Even Tracy Brooks, who's there very long into everything. Another one, it's like she was a year one knockout, you know. I think we've been big on celebrating Goldie. She was very happy to see us do it. to really give her that shine and give Trinity that shine too. I want to keep doing it for the other three now, for Desire, for Tracy, and for Alexis. I think it's a good idea if we really put that out there, everybody.
Don't forget.
Lollipop. That's another one.
Yeah.
Lollipop.
She'd be the other one. She's a little more on the outside, but as of now, where Tracy is, she's in that range at this point.
She's like the she's an active wrestler. I mean, Lollipop was kind of became one by default with that feud, but Tracy Brooks is a trained wrestler. I mean, she never did win the knockouts belt, though, did she? I'm trying to remember now. I'm totally blanking on this.
That's real fuzzy. I mean, I recognize her more when I started watching in the 2005-ish time. So I don't.
Athena. Yeah.
Oh, Athena too. Yeah. She was in Red Sparkles for this episode at ringside.
Was she there?
Oh yeah. I mean, I kind of noticed.
Yeah, he kind of noticed.
A little bit.
I'm trying to say. I'm remembering. Now let's see. She never had Tracy never got the belt. She was Babe of the Year in 2004, and then Knockouts Division Commissioner. Remember that? She was the commissioner of the Knockouts, and she was a referee for a while. So she never got the title with that. That's it. That's kind of a bummer. I thought she would have at least gotten one run. And being
was she
there for
like
so long.
Dusty's assistant for a while? And something.
Her and Trinity become like Dusty's assistants for a bit, and then she breaks out as the official. Yeah, she never did. She never won. Rex is saying the boob job ruined her chances. I guess.
I remember these segments when I first started watching it. Dusty would be like, his office was like the back of a pickup truck with a bunch of bales of hay or something, and he'd always have the two girls on either side of him discussing. Discussing business. If somebody came out there,
that was it. That's exactly what it was. Like they'd be on the bales of hay with the truck. I don't know what that was all about. We're gonna get to it at some point. It's coming up. We'll eventually get to it. But next match is so that was a funny segment. Next match is David Young and Chris Harris. Young, very underrated. I'm gonna say this till he's off the show. David Young is a very solid talent. Put it this way, Bill. You go to a lot of indie shows. Tell me yes or no. David Young today would be over as shit with the indie crowd, I think. Personal opinion.
Yeah, he may be one of the boys down south. It would kind of be where he would fit in. He does have a style that was really probably not valued as much in that time period. Because personality. Because and that's what it's so much ring work ability. Like our favorite Fake Wrestling News will be giving him a good amount of stars, especially with maybe a tour of a certain country in the Far East. He might be a 5-star guy. So
yeah, I could see it. I could see if David Young today, Jay, would be absolutely like an indie darling, because he's got charisma too. He's funny, and he can fucking kill it in the ring.
What did they call him on the way to the ring? They called him the King of the Spine Buster or something like that.
King of the Spine Buster. That was it.
I mean, he really had a unique spine, but wasn't that his finisher?
Yes.
Or he used it at least once or twice in his matches. I don't know if he used it recently, but I know he did use that.
He did. That was kind of his go-to move during that time. But think about it, that was a time there was still the big guy thing, kind of partial big guy thing. But now it's like he was smaller, but his size is like ideal now. And he wasn't tiny. He was 5'11". I'm looking at it right here. But I think he was fantastic. He would have been a complete star on the Indies today had he gotten a little bit more of a run. I think it was just 10 years too late or too early, for that. But solid guy. But David Young, Chris Harris was.
Speaking of David Young,
yeah,
it was something. I know I'm going in reverse here, but it just popped in my head, and I forgot to say it earlier. That first segment where Gilberti's out there and he's got the whole sex crew surrounding him in the ring. on Gilberti's right, while he's talking, it's like all these little things are going on around him and behind him.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely hilarious. David Young is standing next to Desire, and he's kind of like off to her side, but his hands are on her shoulders. Like he's not massaging her, he's just kind of like there.
Mm-hmm.
Siaki's on the other side of Gilberti, goes behind Gilberti, and kind of like taps David Young like, get off of her. It's
I love that.
I absolutely pop for this. Like, no, you're not supposed to touch her. Just take a step back. All right, thanks.
That's great.
All these little
love that.
things are going on behind Gilberti, and I noticed that when I watched that earlier today, and I almost forgot. So there's this underlying little thing going on still between Siaki, Desire, and David Young.
It's great. Those little details make it great. That's where it counts. Those little especially because you notice it too, which I like. That's cool. Because it's like you're always. I like that even if they're not the one cutting the promo, they're conscious of the fact that I'm on camera. Play it up, play up the character, play up the story. So I like that.
I never do that.
No. I would play the machine gun here, but it's not a Tuesday show. I got up out of restraint. So this is where we had the dueling fans you're talking about, Jay. There was the girls all going, "Go, Chris, go!" And I couldn't understand what the guys were saying back. Were they saying no or calling them hoes?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, it's either no or ho. It's like, but yeah, the girls in the front row. Those are the girls I was talking about. They were messing with people at ringside, talking to them. They were screaming the hair off their back. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
They were the whole match. Go, Chris, go. And then I just couldn't figure out what they saying, ho or no. Like what was. But they were battling the guys versus the girls in this crowd.
The one guy, tall guy behind the 3 or 4 in the front row, the ladies. Yeah. I had to rewind it a couple times because it was, it's not HD when we're watching these. It's a little fuzzy. I could have swore it was David Arquette in the second row behind the ladies. It wasn't, but I was like, wow, it really looks like a David Arquette there. Yeah. He's been to wrestling shows throughout his whole life. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt he's been in the crowd of some of these shows we've probably seen at some point. But yeah, definitely not David. I don't think it was David Arquette here. Maybe, who knows? Who knows, Jay?
No, it wasn't. It was, trust me.
Pretty good standard match. I liked it. These guys, I think they've met before in Wildside a bunch of times, so they had good chemistry. Siaki interferes at one point. Storm gets involved. But Sports Entertainment Xtreme attacks, drags into their locker room, storms their locker room. Harris wins the catatonic crowd, and he's like, "Where's Storm?" The crowd's like, "No, he went over there. He's over there." He starts going towards the locker room, and they just you see the door open, and they boot Storm out, beaten to a pulp. Man. I was like, "Jeez."
Just blood all over his face, all over his chest. His shirt is half ripped off. He's all blood dripping down it.
Crazy.
It's he looks like he was just completely just dead.
They got him bad, man. Holy shit. Disco at the Gathering telling the Raven doesn't care about you, but you have a home here with Sports Entertainment Xtreme. If you want to test it out and prove it, come with me to my match. So they walk out. Saturn versus Disco. Nothing too crazy in this one. Again, more interference. It's just Sports Entertainment Xtreme everywhere on this show. Just chaotic, shit stirring, Glenn does win with the I guess they weren't calling it a chart buster. Were they just calling it a stunner, Bill?
I think just a stunner. Yeah, I don't think they were going chart buster.
Because his original, when it was Disco, it was a chart buster. I think, yeah, right. They were just calling it a stunner. So he gets it. Nothing too crazy. I mean, just more interference. I mean, they're trying to really play up that sex is just chaotic. You cannot have a clean anything. And they're going to disrupt your show. They're going to fuck with your show unless you give them what they want. So it was a lot, but if you could understand the context of it, it made sense. This episode is used to further that, basically. So I know, Jay. A lot of people could be like, "Well, they're interfering in everything. Every match has got something," but it's like you kind of know why, right? I guess. Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the notifications on the account, and I just noticed a new subscriber. I apologize.
J-Bone he's in customer relations. He'll be sending you a fruit basket for subscribing to TNI on Twitch.
Well,
thank you.
It's Disco Inferno, so I don't know if we have to send something more special than that.
Is it Disco? Send him some lollipops. Disco, thank you for subscribing.
Yes.
Is it really Disco, Jay? Is that a shoot?
Is it like Johnny Swinger?
Guys,
subscribe to us?
Maybe. Swinger's not in here today. J-Bone is out of Dum Dums, guys. J-Bone, you have a P.O. box? We're going to send you the Dum Dums out. Tuesdays where they get... no, he's fine. He's fine. He's good to go. Christmas time, though, we're going to open up the P.O. box. Flood it with Dum Dums.
There we go. Give me that 180 count.
Oh,
I can't believe I went through all those.
You're a maniac, Jay. How do you do that?
One at a time.
One at a time. Very nice. All right, so we go. So that was it. Disco gets the win on that one. AJ and D-Lo, great promo with Gold. This was gold, huh, Bill?
Yeah, no, this one was. Yeah, no, they were both good. AJ, because remember, this is still early AJ, not the best promo back then. But you can tell he's getting better. He's getting better at it. And he goes to a place that they've touched on in this episode. He goes, I turned down a WWE deal. So
to be here. Yeah.
To be here. So they're saying it's home. This is their home now. So they're really putting this team over. They've really only been together, a couple weeks? But they're right near the top of the tag scene right now. And no, this is definitely a good promo for sure. And yeah, they obviously they're going after Sports Entertainment Xtreme here. They're a bunch of nobodies.
I like D-Lo here because D-Lo was like, "This is my home. I'm here. I'm ready to die for TNA. I'll do whatever I got to do." And it's like kind of true because he's been there since.
Yes. And we can't just forget how over he is.
Oh, he is huge because we go to the match in a second. Still, the crowd. Actually, they were playing these live. You could tell, right, Jay? They were playing in the crowd because you heard the pop from the audience while the promo's playing.
Yeah, and there's some screen in the background off of the stage that they're watching these, I believe.
And they're just reacting to this, man. But D-Lo was on fire. Absolutely on fire during this. Loved it. I thought it was really, really good. So good stuff for D-Lo here. He absolutely killed it. Very good promo. That got me hyped up. And he says Sports Entertainment Xtreme is going to pay. Tanae and Wes is pitching a recap pay-per-view for $5.
But what a name. What a name for this pay-per-view.
That's why I wrote it down. Usually I wouldn't put this down, but it was called Genesis.
Yeah.
Which is a pay-per-view name that they end up going with. But this Genesis was going to be a recap of the first 40 weeks for $5 on demand or something.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, they said it was going to be like an all-day thing or something for $5.
$5, like a 40-week recap.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is what I was wondering. Hakeem's right. He did go back, D-Lo, real quick in 2008. Did he? I remember he left for a little bit. I don't remember him going back up there, but I know he's been pretty much been at TNA ever since 2003 for the most part. Maybe short run up there in 2008. All right, main event. Triple X, and this Triple X was Skipper and Daniels, I believe.
Yes.
This combination, right? Versus AJ and D-Lo. Great match. I mean, crowd, Jay, insane on this one. Loving both these guys.
One thing about Styles and D-Lo.
Yeah.
They had matching gear for this one.
I didn't even catch that.
Look at the gear. Yeah.
No kidding.
I mean, it was different. AJ had his shorts and his whatever that he always wore to the ring.
Yeah.
But if you look at the colors, the black and there was a shade of blue or purple or whatever. Yeah, they were matching.
No kidding. I didn't even catch that. DeLorean Brown, as he's now known. DeLorean Brown. Great match. I thought this was a very solid tag match. And yes, we are talking about sex, Brian. We are talking about sex. Sports Entertainment Xtreme, bro, aka sex. Triple X and sex. The faction, you dirty pervs. The faction. Ends with Disco running in, hitting a chart buster on AJ. Triple X retains. But this is where it gets nuts. The brawl that ensues here. Sports Entertainment Xtreme brawling, beating up everybody. Just they all come out. Security, rookies, other wrestlers. They work their way to the back. Who runs out here, Jay? New Church at one point. Who else? People start running out and trying to stop this. And they're in the back. They're right behind the entrance, right? And like, I'm trying to remember who else ran out, Bill. Anybody, throw it out there. Anybody who remembers.
But they took out. I know they took out Red and Lynn in the back too.
Red and Lynn get taken out. The New Church, I think Bill runs.
New Church they get taken out. Like they come out, but they get taken out.
Jerry Lynn, Storm, Harris. I mean, the entire TNA locker room is fighting. And
Bill Behrens, he was a
Bill Behrens.
Oh yeah, Mortimer Plumtree.
Mortimer Plumtree, which I don't know what he's even doing at this point in the back. Like
last time we saw him, he was looking for Vince, right?
For Russo. And that was it. We never went anywhere with that.
He's still looking. He had a polo and like khakis on, so I'm guessing maybe he was creative or part of production or something.
I'm guessing production, yeah, because today even calls it out. Like Mortimer Plumtree gets taken out. I'm like, he hasn't even acknowledged this guy's existence in 6 months. But somehow he's in the back. They're killing everybody, which I thought was it was wild. It's fucking wild.
He's trying to bring back the Johnsons. No, I don't know. With all the sex going on, why not have some Johnsons mixed in?
Throw some Johnsons at him. Johnsons, as far as the eye can see. That's from a movie. What movie is that from? Police Academy? Johnsons, as far as the eye can see. But chaotic ending. Disco just kind of enjoying it. Ha ha ha. Sits down, slits cigar, just show goes off the air, just like Jay sitting right there with the cigar in his mouth, like, I'm gonna enjoy this. This is great. Just puffing away. Show over. Episode 45 in the books, everybody. Final thought on this one. Let's see, Jay. Let's go with you first, and we'll go to Bill. Wrap it up.
I gotta share this. Hang on 1 second.
While you're pulling that out, I want to call it Hakeem talking about the police riot brawl in 2009. One of my top 5 Impact moments for sure.
Look at that.
Look at that. So I put that up today on our account that we're doing the show. And look who retweeted that. Keeping it 100 with Konnan. Put that out there today on their Twitter and Facebook today.
That was right before we went live. That's what makes me think it's like, oh, maybe it is Disco Inferno that did subscribe. I don't know.
Did it say Disco Inferno?
That's what the YouTube account said.
Oh, really? Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So we put that out there today. It was all it was one of the best shots you can end the show with. You know, it was like it's just a classic Glenn Gilberti shot. Couldn't
I'm
beat
the king of the world.
That's what he said. I'm the king of the world. That was it. I'm like, this is so perfect. So I loved it. Great way to end it. Cigar mouth. This going for the strongest outing of Glenn Gilberti to date. No question about it. And I don't think anything. I mean, I loved Disco Inferno growing up, but he has been booked so strong as the leader of Sports Entertainment Xtreme. I think it's fantastic. So
I gotta say, you know, from watching him, you know, way back in WCW days where he was just kind of a joke and just kind of a mid-carder doing whatever. I mean, I gotta say, I am impressed. I really am.
I am too, man. I think this is one of the best outings he's had career-wise.
Now, there's one point a couple of years ago that I was reviewing on my own channel, a short-lived show called Ring Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a manager for like an Italian, kind of a FBI kind of old school a little comedic
Mm-hmm.
tag team. He was the manager. And that you saw a different side of him too. I mean, it was still a little comical, but it was, he was a figure of authority, He wasn't doing his own shtick. He was, leading two other guys. So that was interesting too. So I see a little bit of that here. And it's just cool to see an evolution of him doing something completely different than what he did a handful of years ago prior in WCW.
With the Mamalukes. Yeah, listen, he's extremely people. He's a great follow on Twitter too. If you're not following him on Twitter, he's fantastic. You might not agree with everything he says, but he's an extremely intelligent guy who gets it, who really does get it. You might, like I said, you might differ. He gets a lot of heat, but you can't deny the guy knows what he's talking about. But this is the best outing I've ever seen him booked in. And Bill, you want to wrap up your final thoughts on this one? I thought it was a great show to further Sports Entertainment Xtreme, to really, like Jay said at the beginning, establish them as a strong force, because they were a little wonky for a bit. But the Slambinos, okay.
That's what that was on Ring Warriors. He was the manager of the
Slambinos. Yeah. Great name. But go ahead, Jay.
Good team.
I'm sorry, I'll go ahead, Bill. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely think this was because we even said it maybe about a month ago. Off and on, Glenn, he was kind of showing the reins, like the Sonny Sakai experiment as the ace hole wasn't working. As the leader, Glenn filled that role on an episode here and there, and it really put him over. They give him more credibility because the steam had really gone out of Sports Entertainment Xtreme.
It did.
And with Glenn, he's been able to bring it back as a serious faction again. For how large of a faction it is, without Russo really being there, it hasn't been anything since. Now it's kind of built up to a Russo level again. So
yeah,
and now they got Sabin with a title. They got Triple X with the titles. So now they're looking like a serious player again, and they're looking to kind of do the whole takeover right now of NWA-TNA.
TNA even mentions that, right? He goes, hey, you know what this means, Don? They have control of the X Division title. It's like more power, but it just feels stable, because after Russo left, it was like chaotic, made no sense, all over the place. But now I think they've turned him into a major player. I'm shocked they still haven't put this shirt back out. I really think this should be a throwback shirt that goes back out. We really need this T-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, we need somebody. Maybe it's Glenn. Maybe it's so Glenn. If you're listening, put it out there. Say you want the shirt back, because we need. That's what you need. You need, like before with the paparazzi, you got Nash involved. Somebody from that faction needs to be a big proponent of putting that shirt over. I think people would get it, man. It's come on, man. It's 2020. We need to have some fun. Let's get some innuendo T-shirts back.
Why not? Plus, it's such a crazy throwback to throw out there, because like it's a faction that people were really tongue in cheek about talking about, like sucks, But it'd be hilarious to wear that to a wrestling show. I guarantee you'll have people going, "Is that a Sports Entertainment Xtreme T-shirt? Are you serious?" Like they'd be shocked that you have it.
And they keep going. Like I know we keep saying, like they are embracing a little bit of that TNA history right now.
They are, yeah.
It's bringing in some viewers when they do stuff related to TNA. It gets views, it gets hits, but they don't focus on the early TNA as much.
That's the thing.
They focus pretty much post-Asylum years. So that would be the key here, is going all the way back to then with some of these groups and factions and things like this with the merch. So that's the thing. By watching reviews like this, by tagging people on social media, by putting those opinions out there, help get that direction. Tag current management, tag the performers. Like, see if you can get the interest, because that's what we're trying to do. And if you've noticed, we're not the only people now doing these shows. There are other people doing these throwbacks, looking back at them.
Up, man.
There's two more shows.
Back. Yeah.
There's two more pods doing this now. Now, we started it because that's why we're further ahead. You can tell we did it first because we're on episode 45. Some of these other guys are like in the teens, if anything. No shots at him. Obviously, we're all here for the betterment and promotion of Impact Wrestling and TNA.
Oh, dude, it's all for love.
All for love. But what I'm getting at is that there is an interest of the throwback, and like you guys hear every week, all you guys listening right now live, and all people listen when it's on demand. There is a throwback crowd, and that throwback crowd needs to just voice up. I personally, Bill, on your note, I think every day on their Twitter should feature a throwback clip, like an Asylum Years clip. Because they do a lot of things. They do Orlando's out there. They do Orlando constantly. But I think there should be a throwback Asylum retro clip daily on the Twitter account and the Facebook, all the social medias. Just something to remind people.
Let's tag Garrett in there. Come on.
We should, because I know Garrett knows we do this, but it's like, come on, hey, there's something to be seen here. There's a lot of great stuff in here, man. Let's not forget this shit. Like, this is classic. A lot of fun. I love the Tuesday show because that's the flagship show. But I absolutely love doing this because it's just reliving these years have been such a fun time for me. So I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it episodically, like I did then. You don't remember everything. It's been years, so it's fun to watch them. Really enjoy them, guys. So please, everybody listening, keep pushing them. Keep pushing the Asylum years. These are classic foundational years of TNA.
Yeah,
we don't want to forget.
As Rex is pointing out, something big next week.
Oh,
maybe tag the coach in that.
Tag him in that. We'll tag him in that for sure.
Spoiler alert.
Well, there you know, Jay, you got your cover art for next week, so you know what it's going to be. And he's a fan of him. He's a fan of him. So
I am. I know he's not very popular now, but I appreciate his stuff from he did in the early 2000s. I mean, it was really I feel it was iconic back then. He was really special.
It's a re-debut though, Hakeem saying, because remember he showed up before already. It's not like it, but this is more of the he's on there
actually becoming part, for a run.
He's only for a few appearances before.
It was sort of like Mickey James, Alexis Laree. Like she showed up early, but she really became part of the roster.
Yeah. Let's get our plugs in here, guys. Bill, you are on the road. Where can they find you and keep up with your shenanigans?
That's my shenanigans. Will be on my Twitter and Instagram at my name at William M. Gardner, Gardner.
Very nice. J Bone, you went live with Jukebox today as well, talking some Van Halen. You got wrestling going on. What else?
Dave and I, we were listening and right in the car.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. I popped in there too. Good stuff today, Jay. Where can people follow that?
You can find me over in that other little podcast called Smash This Podcast. We're smashing all things wrestling, and I'm trying to get the jacked up jukebox back to doing a little more. I was on a roll, and then just stuff around here kind of went to hell, so I went by the wayside, got super busy. Did a tribute to Eddie Van Halen today. He
Fitting.
passed away yesterday, and so sad. But yeah, you can find me over there too. Smash This Podcast is on all the social medias, Instagrams, Facebook, and the Twitter box. You can find me on the Twitter box at JBone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150. I got a quick say though, sign of the episode. I don't do this a lot, but every once in a while I see a sign and I pop for it. In the crowd for this one, got milk. It said got lollipop.
Oh, there you go.
So and I'm I'm gonna steal that one. That's gonna be the next Smash This Podcast t-shirt. I already designed it earlier today. I'm going to put it out soon. So it's got lollipops, Smash This Podcast.
Very nice.
There you go.
Let's do that. I'd like to do a sign of the crowd every week. Can we make that a thing?
There's been some good ones. You have the Don West fashion segment, and then you get the sign of the week segment.
Let's do that. I'd like to make that a thing for the show. Everybody in the chat, sign of the week. Mine this week, if I remember one, was I saw a guy with a sign that said, "I'm embarrassed that Jeff Jarrett is from Tennessee."
Oh yeah, I saw that one. That's great. That is great. And guys, you get heel ones in there, the whole heel section. Those are fun too.
Those guys are great. Guys, you can follow me over at Trent Zuberi on Twitter. I appreciate that. And all follows, I really do appreciate those. I think I hit 1,000 follows this week, and it's pretty nice to see that. And I was private. My Twitter account was private for up until a year ago. So thank you for everybody who's jumped on with my Twitter. I appreciate that. A lot of Impact fans mainly, so I appreciate that, guys. The show is at We Talk Impact on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Type in We Talk Impact or Total Nonstop Impact. Comes right up. You can get us a follow on there. All audio platforms for podcast. Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora. Alexa will play TNI. Tell Alexa, hey, Alexa, play Total Nonstop Impact. She'll do it. So get us on there. Subscribe, rate, review. We'll read out some cool reviews. Leave us a review on these things. We'll read them out for sure. Twitch.tv/Total Nonstop Impact, guys. Subscribe, resubscribe, follow, cheer bits. We appreciate everything. Twitch has been incredible to us, and you guys, especially as a component and catalyst of that. ProWrestlingTees.com/Total Nonstop Impact. 20% off from now through Saturday. Don't forget, I got to order a couple of things. Just come get stuff on there. Bill, I'm sure, has dropped several $100s already with 20% off. A lot of t-shirts. New unboxing video, I'm sure, is coming up in a month and a half because that's when he needs to get his stuff. So, guys, get your t-shirts. 4 TNI t-shirts. There's the other one right there. We appreciate all the sales. Guys, don't forget, get them. 20% off. Now's the time to buy these t-shirts. So thank you to everybody.
That's a nice sale, that fall sale.
Yeah, 20% off. You can't beat it. Grab that, guys. But anyway, I think that's going to do it. Bill's on the road. Guys, I'll be out of town this weekend. Impact Plus Weekly will happen with the crew. I am going to pop in. Jay, get me the link. I will pop in. I'll be on location on the East Coast. I'll pop in briefly, say hello, everybody. So get that over to me. Let me know what time. Jay will be captaining the feed on Sunday. Jay, I wish you the best of luck with because I have a feeling Kyle is going to show up in that one. So Godspeed, sir. I hope you can pull that up. Exactly.
Oh, Kyle. He has a better offer. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with names.
That bastard. I know. That bastard. I forgot what he looks like at this point. But I got a feeling he's going to show up and disrupt you. So Godspeed, sir.
Wait, hold up that T-shirt again so I can remember what he looks like.
Ooh,
Let me see. Is he on here? Did we replace him with anybody? Let's hold him on.
He's it's the one with the hat. There he is. That's Kyle.
What a
Kalon, excuse me.
Kalon, he's there. All right, I think I take that down. That's enough.
That was as long as he's been on the show.
Oh, man, shots fired on that. All right, guys, on that note, we're going to get out of here. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bill, stay safe out there. Jay, take it easy on your shows. Guys, I'll talk to you Sunday night. I'll pop in, and I'll be back in town. We'll be back again Sunday night, Impact Plus Weekly. Tuesday night, the flagship show, Total Nonstop Impact, right after Impact on Access TV. Tell your friends, subscribe, get on board. It's the hottest Impact Wrestling podcast and talk show on the scene today. You don't want to miss out. Guys, we will talk to you later. Good night, everybody.
Find me the name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total Nonstop Impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Nonstop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Nonstop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals, and you are listening to Total
Nonstop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Nonstop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah.